Hiya. Hello. Today, how are you, by the way? Good. They do say that the first like 4 or 5 seconds of a YouTube video are the most important. These are the moments where you will keep or lose your viewers. So you got to get straight into the action. How long have we been doing this for now? About 30 seconds, still not started. Fuck the algorithm. Right, here we go. I'm painting today Bucks Fizz. Bucks Fizz. Oh, yes. Famous for making your mind up, winning the Eurovision for England in, was it 81? I think it was 81. Uh, and then went on to have a string of hits, which doesn't always happen with Eurovision winners, but they're really, they went big. They were massive pop group at one point. Let's move my water over here so I'm not constantly putting my arm across the painting. Yeah, they were huge. Land of Make Believe, which is a really great single. There's one about If You Can't Stand the Heat. Camera Never Lies. Later on in the career, stuff like Heart of Stone, which most of you will know as a Cher song. Bucks Fizz did it first. A song they recorded, I think, a demo for, or it was a B-side. I'm not sure, but song made famous by Tina Turner. What's Love Got to Do with It? There is a version out there by Bucks Fizz, and that song was also offered to Cliff Richard, and it was turned down. Crazy. It's kind of a perfect song for Cliff. Although Tina, as she often did, made it her own. So yeah, I'm painting Bucks Fizz. Just painting Cheryl here. I did fancy Cheryl when I was younger. Not that bothered now, but yeah. It's out there. So, Bucks Fizz, this is the classic lineup of Bucks Fizz. Cheryl, Bobby G, Jay Aston, Mike Nolan, Cheryl Baker, actually. I say classic lineup because there's been several lineups at Bucks Fizz. Jay left after a few years and was replaced by Shelley Preston. If I'm correct, the first single with Shelley Preston was called New Beginning. Hey, it's a banger. It's really good. But it was also the start of the end for Bucks Fizz, to be honest. Not Shelley's fault. It was just pop market had moved on. But they continued. They kept going. I think Jay returned in, I'm not quite sure when actually. But what I'm more interested in is the David Van Der period of Bucks Fizz. Oh, yes. So this was when there was a point where Bucks Fizz was just Bobby, Mike, and let's face it, two random girls. Yeah. It wasn't Jay or Cheryl, wasn't even Shelley. Just two random girls. And eventually Mike left. I'd say one of the random girls was Bobby's partner. Heidi, I think she's called. So Bobby left, which basically left. Sorry, Mike left, which meant that Bucks Fizz was Bobby G, Heidi, who, let's face it, is one random girl, and the other random girl. So struck with the realisation that he needed another fella to be in the band. Bucks Fizz is always 2 guys, 2 girls. He got former Dollar singer David Van Dare. Now this, on the face of it, was a good move, because Dollar had some hits in the 80s, not as many as Bucks Fizz. I think as Dollar's star, shining star, descended, Bucks Fizz star rose. So there's a bit of a crossover. But still, you could advertise yourself as Bucks Fizz featuring David Van Dare from Dollar. Do all the Bucks Fizz songs. They're, $2-3 hits. Perfect night out. Going round the clubs, which is what Bucks Fizz were doing by then, the cabaret clubs. David Van Dare had bigger dreams than the cabaret clubs, though. He joined Bucks Fizz and he was talking about, we could even do an album, get back in the charts, all this. I suspect Bobby was a little bit more pragmatic and realised that that ship had sailed. Anyway, what followed is documented in a TV programme called, I think it's Trouble at the Top. It's all about what turned into a ridiculous legal battle. I love it. So they were touring, playing all the clubs. David was trying to sexy them up a little bit, make sure that the guys just wear black because it's slimming, and the girls were skimpier stuff. Mike and Heidi, his partner, Bobby and Heidi weren't really up for this. They wanted all the colourful stage costumes, very bright, proper Butlins clothes, really. David thought that he looked stupid in them, really. He didn't like them. He wanted to be sexy. So he was digging his heels in a little bit. He didn't win the argument, but, it was the first appearance of some tension. Partly between, not David and Bobby, but between David and Heidi. That was always great, that sort of tension between one member of the band and the partner of another member of the band. So, they'd been gigging and David was getting grumpy that he wasn't able to perform as many of his Dollar songs as he was hoping. David, how many have you got? Not enough. So he was about to quit, but then they got an invitation to go and play for British troops in the Falklands. This was after the Falklands War. I think it's the 90s. So he's like, yeah, all right, I'll do this. Great, it'd be a great trip to go on. Who wouldn't want to do that? It'd be quite an exciting thing. And sure enough, David took his little film camera and recorded a lot of the stuff that went on. They were flying up in Chinook helicopters and stuff. So, sounds S. Anyway, one night he goes out in one of the officers' clubs, gets hammered, performs Oh L'amour, Oh L'amour, which I always remembered as the Erasure song. I never realised that Erasure had covered it, and probably did a better job of it than David Van Dare could. If there's any David Van Dare fans out there, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So yeah, he goes out, gets pissed, goes back to where they're all staying and causing a lot of noise, and either Heidi or Bobby shouts from their bedroom to keep the noise down. Davey starts banging on the door. What'd you say? Basically inviting Bobby out for a fight. Bobby doesn't come out. David says in his documentary, Trouble at the Top, he didn't come out. That probably scared of me, and I'm not. I don't blame him. David Van Dare, he's full of that. He's full of it. So so they get back home, and he leaves the band. I think he leaves rather than he's fired, but he would have been fired, I'm pretty sure, pretty quickly. So what happens next is the best bit. I think Bobby gets a new guy in so he can carry on performing as Bucks Fizz. David Van Day, on the phone to Mike Nolan, former Bucks Fizz member, says, "Do you fancy coming on tour with me?" "Yeah, sure, I'll do that." And they end up touring as Bucks Fizz. So you got two Bucks Fizzes playing the clubs of Britain. David releases a new version of Making Your Mind Up, a dance version with two girls, famously in the Eurovision performance. The guys rip the girls' skirts off, bit of Velcro trickery, to reveal shorter skirts underneath. David Van Day in this documentary saying, "We've changed it, we take the tops off because it's the edge of the boob." The edge of the boob. It's hardly this is the edge of the train. This is the edge of the boob. Do they call Michael Bublé the boob? Should they? Anyway. So, yeah, they released this new single. Doesn't do very well. I think it got to 84, was it? In the charts. And he also releases like a Bucks Fizz album. And I think there were like 8 different versions of it. God knows why. But understandably, Bobby G is not very happy about this. It's like, that's my band that he's going out using the name of. I'm not very pleased about that. So Bobby had applied to get trademark ownership of the name Bucks Fizz, and there was a hitch. I think, from what I could gather in the documentary, I can't remember if it's made totally clear or I was just too busy laughing to properly take it in. I think Mike objected. Why did Mike object? Well, he's touring with the other Bucks Fizz, David Van Day's Bucks Fizz. So, it goes to High Court. It's going on for, I think it's 5 years in total. And eventually, Mike Nolan leaves David Van Day. He phones Bobby up and says, I've left the band. I'm removing my objection. Bucks Fizz should belong to you. So they win. It still takes an injunction out on David Van Day to stop him performing as Bucks Fizz. I don't know if at one point it's David Van Day's Bucks Fizz featuring Dollar or David Van Day's Dollar featuring Bucks Fizz, or it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Reminds me, I used to play bass with a guy who was in the Drifters, and he got taken to court because he was performing as the Drifters. Yet there was another Drifters. Now, there were like 100 different Drifters. At one point, I was with the guy who was called the Drifters. Then it was the New American Drifters. When I did a gig with him with the New American Drifters, it was him, who was American, and 3 fellas from Leicester. He was the only American on stage, and there were like 10 of us in total. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, eventually David had to stop performing as Bucks Fizz. I don't know what he's doing now. What I will say is I'm not sure he comes across very well in this documentary, Trouble at the Top. He's got an ego. No, I know he's a pop star, but he's got a proper ego. The only thing I think he was right about is to ditch the colourful clothes and just make the guys wear black. But other than that, whoa, what a character. Oh dear me. Yeah. So funny. It's a great documentary. I really would urge you to watch it. There's lots of stuff that's brilliant in it. Stuff will keep coming back to me as I'm filming this, maybe. What about Bucks Fizz now? Well, I'm not sure if Mike is still actually Bobby. Keep getting them mixed up. I'm not sure whether Bobby is still actually performing as Bucks Fizz. I do know that the other three, Cheryl, Jay, and Mike, they now perform as The Fizz. And there was a funny little thing. This is relevant to the situation now as much as it was then. There's a funny comment at the end of this documentary where they're talking about where Bobby and Heidi are talking about David Van Day touring as Bucks Fizz. And I think at one point it's just David Van Day and three other people who have no connection to the band whatsoever. And they say, like, fans are going to buy tickets and they're going to see him up there and going to say, that's not Bucks Fizz. But I put it to you, Bobby G, that fans are going to buy tickets and they're going to see you up there with three other randomers and also say, that's not Bucks Fizz. And we're in a situation now where we have three members of Bucks Fizz and one other guy who aren't allowed to go by the name of Bucks Fizz, when arguably it's the most complete lineup of Bucks Fizz for 30 years. There's 3/4 of them. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. All this silly nonsense over a pop group who aren't even the Beatles. You know, it's not like it's the Beatles or it's the Stones, U2, Nirvana, even Foo Fighters, all these like massive bands. It's a fairly successful pop band who had a decent career in a short window, recorded some great songs, and then, you know, their time passed. But it is absolutely great. I love this sort of stuff. And yeah, so this is why I'm painting Bucks Fizz. Because I watched that documentary and thought it was fantastic. I then watched another one called Get Your Act Together, which is a thing where Harvey Goldsmith went around and tried to sort out failing acts in the entertainment industry. And the one I saw, he was trying to sort out a radio station called The Big L with Diddy David Hamilton, Mike Reid, and no one else you've ever heard of. And this station was a complete mess. And that was also very funny. I'm not going to go on too much about that. But basically, the station didn't know what they were doing. The playlist there wasn't a playlist. Basically, Diddy David Hamilton and Mike Reid and the other DJ could play whatever they wanted. And it turned out no one listened to it. One of the reasons they didn't listen to it is because the transmitter was broken. And the listen online thing was broken. And people who ran the station were obviously happy to get Harvey Goldsmith involved, and then obviously decided they didn't like the criticism he was giving them. And it was program about two immovable forces and which one would give in first. Funnily enough, I had a look and Big L is still online, and there was an original random DJ. He's still there. It's online only now, and it's very odd. It's one of these online stations where it's just people having a go now. It's not really, it's not a professional station. It's people putting the show together from their bedroom. But yeah, I recommend you look out for that as well. Get your act together about the Big L. That's meant to be Shadow. It looks like a huge, massive nostril, doesn't it? I'm going to watch another one of those programs because there's one where Harvey Goldsmith tries to sort out Saxon's career. Famous, the denim and leather band. Is it Wheels of Steel? Sheffield rock band. Oh, it might be Sheffield, or they were a Yorkshire rock band. It'll be Barnsley or somewhere like that. But yeah, looking forward to watching that. Anyway, I'm enjoying painting the Fizz. Maybe Bobby could rejoin the Fizz and it'd be called The Fizz featuring Bobby G. Because arguably now the Fizz are possibly more active and known on the circuit than Bucks Fizz are. Maybe their names become more synonymous with the songs of Bucks Fizz. I felt for Bobby a bit. I think he meant right. He meant well. He understood his place in the music business at that point. Playing clubs. That's where it was for him. Don't forget his other eye. Yeah, he seemed fairly, comfortable with what he was doing. And obviously, he was very concerned that, I don't know if it was a money thing, he was very concerned that the Bucks Fizz brand name was his. Was it out of a love for it? Possibly. Here we go. Cheryl's got blue eyes, the rest haven't, but I'm going to do all their eyes, just this dark colour. Going to be disappointed if we don't get Shower right here. I don't think I've done. With her being my favourite and everything. That's alright. Now, do the lips. Oh, brush is still dirty. Okay. Dear. Oh, no, that's all right. She looks a bit naughty there. She's not as naughty in the photograph. She's pouting, yeah. No, that's good, that's good. Cheryl. I've not captured Cheryl there. New beginning. Okay. Funny, isn't it? Now we want some contouring just underneath. Give them some chins. There we go. Some shading on the hair. Just random shapes, I think. Will do. Darkness there. Yeah. Much darker on this side actually. All in shade. There we go. And bit of hairy chest. And then we got a very subtle hint of some red eyeshadow. I don't know what you call it. Some contouring on the faces of the girls. There we go. think I want some writing on it, but there's not much to go. I know what I can do. Let's turn things on their head. There you go, The Fizz featuring Bobby G. Lovely stuff. That's Bucks Fizz for you, The Fizz. Don't forget, check out that documentary Trouble at the Top. It's really good. I may put it in the link below. I'll probably forget, so just Google it, yeah? Right, now you go and draw The Fizz. See you later. Making your mind up. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.